Good morning everyone from the car. We're about to go to the gym. Last week was a bit of a nightmare and a bit of a fail. I injured my back. If you've followed me for a while, you know I've had like a back injury before. I had it when I was pregnant. I've had it since since having Eloin, and I've had it on and off pretty much like since I was like 25. Last week it flared up again and it was the worst it's ever been, and it's still pretty bad. I don't know how it happened. Sometimes it just happens out of nowhere. We were in Newlyn and all of a sudden, I think I was washing up and I think my back had been hurting a little bit, but I just put it down to breastfeeding. All of a sudden I had this like really horrible pain. I couldn't stand up. It was so painful, I was crying. I would liken it to being literally close to labour, like it was the early stages of labour in terms of the pain level. It was so severe. And we left Newlyn and I was like crouched over, holding on to Alex, crying my eyes out. And this lovely man came over to be like, are you okay? Do you need help? Alex was like, do we need to go to the hospital? It was really bad. But I've had this in the past. I've been to a physio. I think I need to book another physio appointment via the GP. I don't know I'll get seen as quickly because I'm not pregnant, but maybe I can be referred to the same physio. It's just an underlying issue I have and I know what's going on. It was very bad and I had a few days of it's weird, I was kind of bedridden, but the issue with this back injury is the more that I sit and lie, the worse it gets. So I have to move, which is the irony behind it, because I remember the physio telling me, you got to keep moving, which is hilarious when you cannot stand up. But I was like crawling up the stairs and I would like walk to the toilet, like I'd like crawl on the floor or walk completely hunched over, or like holding on to Alex or holding on to doorways and stuff, and forced myself to move around. I'm able to walk now, but it is still really bad. Like I'm sitting here, it's been 2 minutes. I'm starting to feel like I'm in pain. So I've decided I need to go to the gym to do some rehab. I've been wanting to go back to the gym for so long, and this is the reason that I have this injury. I have hypermobility and I also have this sort of back injury, and it flares up when I don't exercise. It always happens that way. If I've had a time where I'm overrun or I haven't been exercising, and that is definitely what's happening with me currently. And also postpartum, it's obviously made it worse. The weight gain, being pregnant, pushing a baby out, breastfeeding, all of it, it's just amplified the problem. So last week my goal was to go back to the gym anyway, and then this injury happened and I was like, for goodness sake. So now I'm able to walk. I need to go to the gym to just rehabilitate it, just do really light, gentle exercises. And I'm going to the gym so that I can get out the house, basically. It's not a very long drive. I'm not really able to drive longer than like 10 minutes because of the sitting. Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. That's why I kind of last week decided I'm just going to take a week just not to do much or work much, because I couldn't. I'm really hoping I can just get on the mat, do some really lovely stretching, and maybe if I do this more regularly, the pain will start to ease up. Because at night time it is bad. Like last night I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like so stiff from lying that I was really difficult to go to the toilet and get up. And sometimes Eloin is like waking up and she's upset because she wants me to feed her, and I can't do it straight away. It's crazy. I can't hold her, I can't carry her, I can't pick her up. It's just so much I can't do, and I have to get like, the house is a mess because Alex is like really like trying to do everything with Eloin and pick her up and hold her and look after her, but then usually we obviously help each other out. It's just become, yeah, not ideal. And I've also had to cancel an event that I have been booked to do. I think I mentioned it previously. It's an event in London, and I had to cancel it because I can't travel. Anyway, I'm not going to get that down about it because it has been making me quite sad. I'm just going to go to the gym, and hopefully doing some stretching for half an hour is going to really help me, and I can do this more regularly to help with the recovery, because I know last time it took a long time to recover from. It took a couple months at least. So yeah, try and have a positive start to the week. Gosh, that felt nice. Feels like I've got some piece of me back. The gym and like exercise was such a big part of my life. Before having Eloin, and even during pregnancy, I kept it up for a really long time. And just like, it's so funny when you become a mum how much your life is enriched by having a child, but how much of like your old self goes away and you can kind of forget about it. And I feel like getting this sort of back injury was a bit of a reminder to be like, you've got to look after yourself as well. You can't just keep like going and not, you've got to fill your tank up as well. So it's been a really good reminder. And it's sad that it had to get to the point that I was in so much pain to do something about it, but it's given me a kick up the butt to be like, you have to look after yourself, you've got to make this a priority. You can't keep running around like a headless chicken doing everything. Recently I did make a bit of a change with how we were eating as well, because like that's something I just completely became just like, I just stopped caring, and I was eating just so much food that didn't make me feel good, stuff that was like really salty, really fatty. Not that like, I always hesitate when I talk about food because I don't want to be like labeling food as good or bad, but the food that just didn't make me feel good and that I know doesn't make me feel good, and it was kind of not looking after myself, and it was being kind of careless about what I was putting in. And since weaning Elowen, it's actually been a really nice kind of reminder to think about what I'm eating. If I'm thinking about what she's eating, it makes so much more sense for me to cook a nourishing meal for myself and then pair that with what she's having, you know, the difference of vegetables and things she's trying when she's weaning. But the last couple of weeks, because I'm giving her like a protein, a carb, a vegetable or a fruit, and kind of giving her more variety, we have eaten the best we've eaten since probably since like the first week or the first few weeks when Elowen was born and Alex was cooking loads of really delicious, nourishing meals for me. It kind of has slowly over time become less important, and it's been so much fun eating in that way and using up all our leftovers, eating seasonally properly and cooking meals and thinking about how they're going to be filling and nourishing and tasty. And I think previously we would have just had something, I don't even know what we would have had. I feel like we may have gone to the shop, you know, and just bought something like a pizza, or we would have just had like, sometimes we were doing ramen noodles with like some tofu on top, or just like some really simple pasta. But last night in the fridge there was like a few things left over from last week, so we had a lovely noodle bowl which had coconut milk, curry powder, and then we had some vegan chicken, chickpeas, pak choy, onion. I sprinkled some cashews on top because I was thinking about Elowen, and I was trying to introduce her to more nuts, so I diced up nuts really finely for her, and had some lime. But it was a nourishing meal. It was so delicious, and we were like, that was so easy. It was such an easy meal, and it was so yummy, and it meant that she had, oh, sweet potatoes as well. Yeah, it was a good reminder. So it's actually kind of maybe prompted this too, but I really enjoyed that. I did some really deep stretching and felt so much better, and I want this to become a routine when she has her little nap in the morning. So let's hope the journey home that my back doesn't hurt as much because I've done some stretches and eased some of that pain. 11:11, make a wish. I'm gonna make a protein shake. I had started last week, the plan was to do a spring clean video with you. I started it, and every single clip that I filmed, I couldn't do because of my back. I was like, I'm just gonna try because I'll just do it really slowly. And it was impossible. This cupboard I'm looking at, I've cleaned this cupboard out so many times and it's such a mess. But we need some protein. Where is the protein I was using? Oh, here. Someone actually, I think, messaged me literally today about giving my advice about feeding in public and getting used to breastfeeding. For me, it's never actually been a thing of like me being too shy or anything. Like, I'm actually okay, especially if I'm like with friends who breastfeed. So I'm just stamping down the thing. I've always been okay with actually breastfeeding in public because I feel like there's a way of doing it that you can do it in a discreet way. It doesn't really bother me that much. The thing with Elowen is that she doesn't really like to feed around other people. When she was little, she would cry and get fussy. Now she just is always very distracted. She doesn't cry and get fussy anymore, but she just, I think this is really common for her age, she just pops off. So I would just be showing my boob the whole time. She just would not feed unless she was really, really hungry. But I tend to feed her on demand when she moans, or I know, like, I feed her usually when she wakes up and usually when she goes down for a nap, and then now, because she was awake for a lot longer, once or twice in between that. So it's kind of constant to feed her, and at home it's fine, but it's getting to the point now I can't even feed her in the kitchen if Alex and Roxy and Zeus are in here, because she just won't feed. She'll just get distracted. And sometimes I'm like, okay, fine, you won't feed, you're not hungry. But other times it's almost like I know her well enough. I know that she is hungry and she's just distracted. And then when you put her down to like play or like go to feed her for lunch or something or do other things with her, she gets a bit like moany. She makes that kind of noise. And that's also amplified if she's teething, which I think she is. But it's like, I know you're hungry, but you're too distracted to feed. And then I know that you're going to be upset because you haven't fed. So it's like a whole thing. But I just don't really feed in public anymore because it just doesn't really end up working, and then she ends up being a bit upset. So I tend to take her to the toilets and feed her in the toilets, or I will feed her like underneath something, or just feed her a little bit and stop, and just call it a day. But yeah, breastfeeding for me I've never been someone who feeds in public regularly, like just feeds her she's not a chilled baby like that. She won't just latch on and just feed and then latch off and be like, oh, I'm fine. That's just never been her way. So you just have to go with the flow with what your child is like. If it's to do with you feeling self-conscious, that's a different matter. But like if you have a child who just doesn't love feeding in public, then just find private places to do it. I tend to just feed her when she wakes up, or do it in the car. Like, go to your car. That's how it works best for me. I go to the car, I feed her. Even now though, she's getting distracted in the car, which is good. Gosh, how is she going to be when she gets older? Even more like aware of things. Anyway, let's have some protein powder. And we did just get a Rutherford. I haven't cleaned up from breakfast. I think Alex has been hanging out with little one. Ooh. So we have got the vegetable box. I'll leave a link to Rutherford. You get £15 if you sign up. I think it's like a friend's thing. I get £15, you get £15 if you sign up to Rutherford, if you can think about it. Wild garlic still in season with Rutherford, which is fantastic. Asparagus, we can give her asparagus for the first time. That's exciting. I actually need to do my meal plan. I haven't because of the Easter weekend. Red pepper, she's not had that in a while, so that's good. We've got parsnips again. I've been loving having parsnip chips, and Elowen loves parsnip. I think this is a great one for finger foods if you just boil little fingers, because it's sweet immediately when they put it in their mouth, and she just sits and sucks it, and she does, some pieces break off, but she seems to absolutely love parsnip in particular because of its texture being soft. We have lettuce. I haven't really given her lettuce because I'm not really sure how at this age. Cauliflower, she also does really like cauliflower and broccoli, I think, because again the texture breaks off in her mouth, so it sort of crumbles, which is nice for her. And then we have potatoes, so that's a nice little veg box from Rutherford. And then we have the little extras I always get, which is mushrooms. We've been getting eggs for Elowen, though I actually need to change that because we've still got eggs left over from last week. Hopefully, no, this is gonna be okay. They last a while. But I need to change that to fortnightly. And yeah, someone asked about what we're gonna do with like leftovers. We have like plenty of people to give things like that to. And then we've got more yogurt, which, yeah, we need to change this to fortnightly because it's too much for the week. But that's what we're getting weekly. Nice little Rutherford shop. And actually I need to tidy up this kitchen a bit and then sit my laptop and do a bit of a food plan for the week at some point as well today. Let's put this food away. So, time to do the meal plan. I have jotted down what we've got in the cupboard, and obviously we've just had Rutherford. I absolutely love getting Rutherford every week and the seasonal veg box, because not only does it take some of the thinking out of it, but it means I get to eat seasonally, and it means that I'm kind of, the decisions have been made in terms of like what vegetables we're going to be working the shop around, and then what we've got in the cupboard. So that's how I kind of start with my shopping list and my meal plan. I also do like to do a meal plan rather than just winging it. Alex and I tried winging it, and every single time we do that, we just wish we did a meal plan that week because it stresses us out to make the decision each day. So I'm going to make my crispy roasted potato. I need to improve this title, but this is a new recipe. It's crispy roasted potato, tofu and asparagus, and also broccoli salad. So that can be one of our meals. Probably what day? Today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Oh no, not tomorrow, no, Thursday. So we've got roasted potato, tofu, asparagus and broccoli salad. So we need chilies, we've run out of chilies. This evening, I think, maybe, do you fancy spaghetti this evening, Alex?
Yeah.
We've got red lentils, so we could do lentil ragu. I might make the sauce and make it unseasoned so she can try it. Friday is always pizza. We have pizza every Friday, which is lovely. And then probably I will plan one more meal. I usually don't bother planning the weekend, but I think I will plan one more just because we have got all those veg, so I may as well think of something to make with them. Is it wild garlic? I'm going to buy some pasta so we can make some pesto pasta for one of the lunches. Like a wild garlic pesto. I think I'm going to recreate that kind of curry that we had yesterday because Alex liked it so much, so I'm just going to put noodle curry and I'll use whatever veg we haven't used this week. So I need to get some rice noodles. because he really liked those. That means that basically for lunchtime, what I'm doing every week is ordering beans and tofu, so we always have something for her, and then making sure we're always stocked up on rice, pastas, like any sort of grains, and then we always have vegetables from Riverford. So lunchtime is like whatever. Yeah, this makes my life so much easier, very simple. I've got a delivery slot for tomorrow. For Elowen is I write down the version of the food that she's having. So for lentil ragu, in brackets, she's going to have spaghetti finely chopped. I basically use solid starts. I just look up on there how she needs to be served food items. And if it's lentils, I'm wondering if it's probably not sensible to give her a sauce at this age because it's just going to go everywhere and she's not going to eat it. So for lunches, we tend to give her the allergens that we're not eating. So like the eggs and the yogurt, we're just trying to do it once a week, and peanut butter. We've tried different nuts, so I need to introduce, I'm going to put a note here, notes. I know that this has become a bit of a controversial thing. A few people got mad at me about this, saying that I'm not vegan or I'm doing this for my own benefit or something, or I have no idea what the judgment is, but I would just say, please let's be conscious of other parents and other mums and their decisions and not judge them for it. I would never judge anyone else. If I had a friend who was vegan and they decided to feed their child not vegan at all and they ate meat and fish and everything, I would think, well, that's great, that's your child, that's your decision. It's nothing to do with me. So let's not judge. And people are being like, I followed you for 10 years and now I'm going to have to say goodbye now. Okay, I'm just being realistic and balanced and nuanced as a vegan. I feel like we actually harm our cause as vegans by being so black and white, and I think that the world is grey, so there's no point pretending it's not. There's no point pretending we live in a world that is black and white, because it isn't. Unfortunately, we live in a world that is not vegan at all, and when it comes to my daughter and her wellness, that is going to always come first. For me, her mental health, her physical health will always come first. So that's why we're doing it, and I've had lots of people who are also vegan and families who are vegan who are doing it that way. And it makes a lot of sense to a lot of us. So there is a grey area for lots of vegans, and you can tell me I'm not vegan as a result, just like I have grey area with wearing secondhand leather, that kind of stuff. Like, you can live in your world of black and white, go ahead, but don't judge others for living in the world that is the actual real world, which is a grey area. Hello guys, I want to introduce you to my new admin assistant. So Elowen has peanut butter on toast, and that all just came off. Could you get me the fork actually? This is supposed to have egg and avocado and it's all just fallen off, but there's a kind of slightly lazy lunch, and then I'm going to give her some orange and maybe banana to try afterwards. We are off out. I was sat on my laptop for a bit, and like I said, sitting makes my back hurt, so I need to be like doing something. We need some bits for Newlyn. We have been doing snagging and finishing, and it's taking so much longer than we expected, but those sorts of jobs, like the little bits, take...
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, there's just like we need like more books, more pictures for the walls. We've been like, if you want an update for the house, we've just been having to do so many small bits, like boring stuff, like fixing, there was like damp on the wall because of the guttering that's been fixed. Just a few little finishing touches that we need to pick up. So number 1 is books, number 2 is a few little like pictures for the wall, number 3 is maybe if there's a few other knicky-knack things, we'll see. Got a load of books in one of the charity shops. They had so many good books for 50p. So I got like a huge stack in here for £7. And then I just found a lovely dress, like a summer shirt dress, for £6 in British Heart Foundation. It just said extra large, so I'm just assuming it will fit me as like a nice floaty long shirt dress. Fingers crossed. That was such a successful shop. We've got so many lovely classics. We've got Jane Austen's Emma, which I already have a few versions of, but this is a nice copy. I don't actually think I have. Maybe I do already have one just like this. Anyway, this is actually for me, I've got the King Lear of the exact same cover, so it'd be nice to have Romeo and Juliet. And then The Tempest, which is also a lovely cover. Alex saw this, which she thought was quite fun. The Tao of Pooh. in which it is revealed that one of the world's great Taoist masters isn't Chinese or a venerable philosopher, but is in fact none other than the simple bear created by A.A. Milne, Winnie the Pooh. We've got The Age of Innocence, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which is going to be for Elowen. The Poetry of Cats, this is a gift Alex wanted to get for his brother. Anne of Green Gables, which I grew up reading because my grandma and uncle live in Prince Edward Island, which is where this is set, and I love Anne with an E. I think it's up there as like probably my top 3 TV shows ever. And then Gone with Regret. I think this was Alex's he picked up. I don't know if he wants this for Newlin or for him, but he does love a train. We've also got this, which I think I literally have the exact same thing upstairs, but it's so lovely. It's just a copy of all the Cornish novels from Daphne du Maurier, and I'm obsessed with her. She's probably my favourite author alongside Jane Austen. So that can go to Newlin. And then we got these 2 lovely pictures. One is like an old print of a view of Bodmin, which is in Cornwall. And then this one, I feel like it's maybe just something from a newspaper or a print, but it says, Refuge, a Penzance registered lugger running before a southeast gale seeks desperate refuge in Porthleven Harbour. A poor choice indeed. I just thought that was too funny. So £2 and £3. Also got this, The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin. This is a lovely, I'm hoping, I actually didn't check inside because it's just sellotaped, a wooden puzzle. Which, how many pieces does it say? 20. That doesn't look like 20 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, it is 20. So it's a lovely wooden puzzle. The best find though in this shop was this entire box of wooden blocks for £1.50. So these are just perfect for imaginative play, open-ended play. This dress, I'm gonna have to try this on. This will be hopefully perfect for me because I love this kind of thing. It's just a really long, oversized shirt dress, but I feel like that's perfect in summer just to throw on. Put a belt on or just wear it loose or even wear it over things. It's just lovely. I've never heard of this. This is Thomas Hardy, The Woodlanders, but a lovely cover. The Keeper of Lost Things. I have a funny feeling I've already got this book, but I've heard of it. Frankenstein, because I just read it and I thought it'd be good to have a copy there. This book is one of those books that I read it this year, and as I was reading I wasn't particularly enjoying myself because when I was reading it I was finding it really challenging and quite drawn out and finding, I guess, the characters quite annoying. But it's the book that I've thought about a lot since finishing it, which I think is really interesting because I feel like maybe I need to go back and reread it because it's made me think a lot about what it was trying to say. Summer in February by Jonathan Smith. I thought that cover was just beautiful. Atonement, I already have this book, but it's such a good book that I thought that'd be good. But again, I'm worried that some of these I've literally already bought for the cottage. The Miniaturist, I've heard of this one. That looks cute. Middlemarch, I just bought this exact copy for myself, but we can have another one. We have Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre. I'm saying this is not as good a selection. These are great. We have Plato, The Republic. I just thought it'd be nice to have some classic books if you fancy a little browse. Evelyn Woe, or Woe? I can't remember how to pronounce that. Fern Britton, a good catch because this is a Cornish author. She writes about Cornwall. And then this is the lovely, lovely copy of a Daphne du Maurier book called The Scapegoat. I've never heard of that. So I'm a bit like, I swear, I've read all of her books, but this is a new one that I've not heard of, and just a lovely copy. So that's kind of for me, actually. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry that yesterday's vlog ended abruptly. Well, not yesterday's vlog, but like yesterday. I just ended up not feeling great, a bit faint. I wonder if I need to get my iron levels checked postpartum. So I just took it easy last night. Wasn't a good evening. So this morning, though, we are... Oh, little one. It's okay. Oh, you've lost your sock already. I hope that's in the car somewhere. I'm going to meet my friends because it's gorgeous weather at the beach. We're trying to meet up every week. They're 2 girls I met when I was pregnant because we all had babies at the same time. And yeah, we're trying to make it a weekly thing. So it's gorgeous weather. We're going to go to the beach and have a nice time, hopefully. The little one's maybe a bit fussy this morning. So I've just got home. It's absolutely beautiful outside. The weather is incredible. It feels like I'm on holiday. Like, St Ives was just beautiful. The beach was beautiful. I felt so lucky to think about the spring, summer ahead and bringing up Elowin in Cornwall. Oh, just so glorious. The weather just puts you in such a great mood, and just to be so close to the beach. Oh, I just can't wait for this summer. I have the most incredible package that has just arrived. If you know, I have loads of Le Creuset pans. I got these when we moved in as like a gift to myself. This is our set that we have, this, I think it's meringue, this colour, and they're very well used. This is the lid to the medium-sized one that's very dirty actually. Do you have any tips on how to clean these? This is the one that Alex uses for the bread. So it's really, really well used. And I bought them because I knew that we would use them and keep them forever basically. And Le Creuset contacted me and said they wanted to send me something. So I'm very curious to see what they've sent. This is like the dream. Oh, wow, look at this. If that is not right up my street. Look, it's basically got like embossed, raised floral design. Oh my gosh, and it's like an ombre effect. Wow, these are beautiful. Le Creuset is just like a lifelong brand. Like you buy them and that's it, and you keep it in your family. Like my mum had blue Le Creuset pans to cook with when I was growing up. Oh, they've got mugs. My sister has Le Creuset mugs and I'm always jealous. Look at that. I'm assuming this is a new range that they're doing with the embossing, the raised design. And it's like a lovely sort of faded pink into like a kind of a pinky cream. Wow, these are beautiful. And what do we have here? So I don't actually have any like ceramics from them in terms of like plates and bowls, so this is very lovely. Oh, oh my goodness me. This might be up there as my favourite PR package. Oh my goodness me. It matches the stuff I have. I wonder if they did that deliberately. I don't know if this range is just this colour or if they did a little spy on my socials and matched it, because this is also in the meringue colour. Look at, it's a flower. Okay, I can't, I'm going to show you the other way around. That is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Look at that, and look at the gold handle. Oh my goodness, this side, I don't have anything like this. Wow, thank you so much Le Creuset. I will link this range. I'm assuming this is a new sort of floral spring range that they've come out with. And I'm going to be enjoying a beautiful cup of tea in this afternoon. Look at that. Look at this, for barbecue, salads, this summer. Just perfect. Thank you so much Le Creuset.
Thank you, sir.
So I mentioned that we have a damp problem. I'm not going to show you up close because it's pretty bad, and I don't like being in here anymore. I don't really play with Elowin much in here because I just feel like it's not a good place. In fact, I'm going to open this window because we need circulation in this room. But it's not raining, so it's a glorious day outside. But yeah, there's a real damp problem. I think it's coming from the chimney and it's causing an issue with our books. And though there are lots of books here I'm not that worried about, there are quite a few that I would like to keep nice. I'm going to get a bag and take away all the books I really just want to be in good condition still, and try and condense the other books and maybe just move them into one spot, or like move them out a little bit so that we've kind of emptied these bookcases a little bit. It might feel a bit bare in here, it might be a bit weird in here for a time, but I feel like I just don't want to ruin all of our books. So let's go get a bag and then I can take them all to Newlyn, arrange them on the shelf and decide what looks best. Is that dust or is that mould? That's dust. These just need to go into the garage next door because there's lots of shelves next door. Yeah, see, these are going mouldy. That's not good. Yeah, this size is worse. These older books are getting really mouldy. So I think, well, that's a massive shame. I mean, it's not the end of the world because these books were all secondhand from charity shops, and I can totally, come on, get up there. Huge spider. Bloody hell, I'm just going to leave that there. Oh. Okay. Okay, little one's awake. Well, that I got far. False alarm. She's doing this more lately, that she wakes up and then goes back to sleep. That's just so, she never used to do that. So let's carry on. Oh, see. Oh, I'm so sad. This is my lovely copy of my cousin Rachel, look. So we have Alex's collection that's going to go next door. I'm going to wipe everything. These are too far gone. Unfortunately, they're going to have to go in the bin or be recycled. I'm not sure what to do with books that they are so bad. These need cleaning. Those are going upstairs to Elowen, and then here I've kind of moved them all right to the front and sort of put them on the shelves that aren't so bad. And then here I've done the same. I was a bit like the bag was full, so I'm not going to take any more with me. But when we sort this room out, the idea is obviously we need to tackle this issue because it's just not safe. There's mould coming through. This is not good for breathing it in. We don't actually spend much time in here anymore because of this. I don't really ever watch TV in here. I think, yeah, I don't ever sit in here. I think I sit in here probably like 5 minutes a day, if that. Because I just don't want to be in here, especially with Elowen. And when we sort this out, we'll have to obviously redecorate, and then hopefully we can get architrave put round, or we can do this, put architrave around the bookshelves finally. And then also I want to put some cupboard doors on, which I think that we can attempt to do ourselves because we're also going to wait for a carpenter. But let me know if you've got any fun ideas, whether you think we should stick with the same colour as this room because it's just like an off-white sort of stony colour, or whether you think we should do something different and bold. But I'm really disappointed by the fact that this has happened. It's going to be a big project. It kind of feels like we've left one renovation project and we're coming home to another. Because of this damp problem, we're going to have to tackle it face on. We're going to have to fix whatever that is causing that, probably the chimney stacks. Hopefully it's not too big of a job. And something we've been meaning to do for a really long time is to figure out the pointing, maybe fix some of the stone work outside. With talking to my friend who's recently had some work done. And there's something called bag rubbing, which means that you can paint the stone, so it's going to be cheaper than repointing, but it allows it to breathe, basically. It's like a very traditional method that you can use on Cornish homes for granite, because I just fear that repointing the entire house, because it's an old Georgian house, it's huge, will be astronomical, way outside of our budget. It's not something that we can afford right now. Maybe that's an option, so we just really need to get some experts in to talk to us about this issue. I'm getting so annoyed by how messy this house is. Let me just plonk you down, I've got some folding to do. This nappy caddy, I bought this, and I think the week that I bought this, Roxy chewed it, so I've had to cut off the handles because it was like uneven and chewed. But what I thought this could be for in here is I plan on changing this room so that there's a Montessori floor bed. So right now there's a whole heap of stuff that's from when she was little. So this changing mat, I can't use it anymore. The other day we had a bit of a scare. We put her on this. Alex was changing her because she'd ruined her outfit a bit, so we had to change her outfit. She was lying on it. I was putting something away in the second drawer. He left the room for 1 second. I wasn't looking at her because I was putting something away here. She rolled off into the drawer. What a relief that the drawer was open. She was totally fine. She cried because she shocked herself. But that's the last time I'm using this. I think as soon as they're rolling, we literally haven't used the changing mat in like a month or two. Like, we just don't use it anymore. But yeah, this is all her sort of baby stuff that she really just doesn't need anymore. So the clothes that don't fit her, the bassinet, toys that she's not going to play with. We need to put all this in the attic. And we need to get rid of this double bed. And I want a Montessori style floor bed in the corner, and to make this room child-proof and have loads of toys on shelves low down so she can access all her toys. And I thought this could sit somewhere like that. Even I could screw it into the wall and then some of her toys could go in there and it would look really pretty. So that's what I'm planning on using. Or even just like this, like it can have, you know, stuff in there and she can pull it out. But I'm not gonna use it as a nappy caddy anymore. Oh, my back is actually killing me. I really should not have had her in the carrier. I should have taken the pram, because I put her in the carrier and walked in St Ives for a bit, and oh my gosh, my back is killing me. It's like my back hurts when I walk, when I sit, when I stand, when I lie down. Ay, ay, ay. Where's my phone now? Oh, I can't catch a break, seriously. I just don't know what I'm doing with my life. Alex, is my phone downstairs? I feel like I'm going mad. I just need to fold a few things. I thought I would talk to you a little bit about my book I'm reading. I feel like I've spoken about this so much, but do you know what? I don't care because it's blowing my mind. This book keeps on going through ebbs and flows of being great and then not so great and then really great. But like the underlying common sense ideas of it, I'm loving. It's Hunt, Gather, Parent. I feel like I've mentioned this literally in this vlog and in the last vlog, but whatever. Yeah, there's definitely stuff in there that I'm a bit like, I roll my eyes at and it doesn't really apply to me. But there's so much like stuff in there that I'm just absolutely loving, and it's really sort of making me think a lot about how I want to raise Elowen. Because even just reflecting on my own childhood and the things that I deal with today, like the chapter I was just listening to is all about how this particular group allow autonomy with their children. So they kind of give them that level of freedom. There's always someone there, like an older child, or they're kind of watching on from afar, but they give them the freedom to make choices and do what they want. And I know that I would naturally be inclined to be more of an anxious sort of helicopter, I hate that phrase, but helicopter parent, where you're kind of like watching over somebody, because I am a warrior and I get scared about these sorts of things. And I think it's a really good thing to reflect on now and think about, because I need to have the confidence to allow her to do what she wants and make her own decisions. And some of the tips she was just sharing were just so helpful. I've got like a little note app on my phone so that I can make notes for the stuff that does apply, that I like, that makes sense to me, and just leave the rest. But stuff like don't answer for her or tell her what to say, I think that's a really easy temptation when children say the wrong thing, or if they're rude, or if they're not like confident enough to speak for themselves. I think that can make it worse sometimes. So she's sort of recommending, you know, to just allow your child to speak for themselves, because that's how they're going to learn. It's a skill. Oh, that went down the back. It's a skill after all. Stuff like resisting the urge to interrupt your child, waiting a bit, then they can learn and they can practice conversation. Maybe that's part of the reason that I get a bit shy and anxious, because sometimes I do, and I think maybe my parents were a bit more, I don't know, I can't remember, but maybe they were a bit more like helping me out, which is instinctual when I needed help speaking, or like spoke for me, which I think is a really natural thing to do. Yeah, it's like helpful just to allow them to speak, even if maybe it comes across as rude or a bit unsure. They're going to learn and they're going to figure it out. She said, yeah, allow children autonomy, stop the commands. She suggested like a practice of setting a timer for 20 minutes and just trying not to give any commands in that time, or if you do, just one. So nothing like, you know, could you get me this, or stop doing that, or come here, or whatever. She said try and not do any commands, or just do like one or two. And if you need to do a command, try and do it with your facial expression rather than speaking. And I just think that's a really interesting idea, so that you're not kind of watching over or trying to control in that way. Yeah, she was talking about how they create kind of like a safety net for your children, so that they're always looked after, they're always safe, but you're allowing them to explore and learn and make mistakes on their own, which I think maybe we've lost a little bit today. Some of the other things that I'll just read through some of the things. If you are interested in this book but you're not 100% sure, let me just read you some of the things I picked up so that it can give you a little inkling into the book. Things at the start of the book she talked about was mainly like sitting with your children when they're doing tasks, because children want to be helpful, asking them to do smaller subtasks. For example, hold the door open for me while I carry this outside, run and fetch me, put this pot away in the cupboard, go and hold this, carry this. So like involving them in stuff, because children like to be involved, and it's a really great way to teach children how to be a part of their family and how to be part of their community, and also paying attention to what they like, and then going from there. Like if they show an interest in something, really like pay attention to that. make the tasks doable as well for your children, because you need to err on the side of easy, because obviously they're very little children and they need to figure it out. Always remaining calm. This is another thing. I'm an anxious person. I get a bit more worried. I can imagine myself in situations as she gets older not remaining calm and getting worked up or stressed about something. And she said this particular hunter-gatherer group always remain calm. They don't believe in arguing with children. They almost think it's laughable. She shared an anecdote about how I think an uncle once had an argument with a child, and they talked about it as a funny thing. They're like, haha, he had an argument with her. That's just not something that they believe in. They don't see the point in arguing with children, which I just thought was so interesting. So instead she talked about allowing your children to think for themselves, tell them the consequences of their behaviour instead of arguing. So things like you could fall and hurt yourself, rather than stop climbing on the climbing frame or stop climbing on the rocks. You could fall and hurt yourself. So telling them consequences, which seems so obvious, but again, I can so imagine myself being like, get off that, don't do that, that's what, you're blah, 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 blah. And just avoid that part of it and instead just say, you're going to hurt yourself, you need to come off the rocks. She also talked about how they just don't ask things like, do you want? That's just not part of their vocabulary. They're not asking children what they want, they're just including children in whatever is going on. They're not asking them what they want for dinner. They're not asking them what they want to do that day. The children just go along with what they're doing. And she also talked about when you get really worked up, just staying quiet. Just be quiet, don't get worked up. Learn to deal with your own anger, your own stress levels, and walk away if you need to, which is such sage advice. I think that's sage advice for just adults in general, for any communication, any sort of relationships, to not let your temper run away with itself, because that's never going to help situations, but instead to try and stay silent, deal with your anger, and remain composed rather than getting upset with your child. Obviously, it's easier said than done. I've got an 8-month-old, 7-month-old. I don't know what the future holds, and I could sound very, very ignorant to it right now. But yeah, I think it's kind of understanding how to deal with, basically regulate yourself so your child can learn from you. She said give them responsibilities as rewards, so help them when they're misbehaving. So if they are misbehaving, you can say we can go to the garden centre together if you can show me your responsibility. We can go to the food shop together, because children enjoy that. Also things like stop issuing do's and don'ts and use them sparingly. The next time you want to change a child's behaviour, pause. What is the consequence of this behaviour? Why are you trying to change it? What do you feel will happen if you let the behaviour continue? She also said this lovely thing about replacing tension with awe. So the moon is so beautiful tonight. She used that as an example when a child was having a tantrum. This is what one of the women did that she was visiting. She just went over to the child and said, wow, look at the moon. So going outside and showing children how beautiful the world is when they are feeling that level of overwhelm. Anyway, that's a nice little insight if you're thinking of the book. I'm really enjoying it. Those are some of the things that I quite enjoyed learning from, and I feel like it's going to really shape a lot of the things I think about in the future, and I'm looking forward to listening to some more parenting books, expanding my knowledge, wisdom, hearing from different people, and then picking up on what makes sense to me and our family. I left the camera upstairs, but we've come outside with some wooden blocks, the ones I got in the charity shop, because it's such a nice day and it's not going to be nice tomorrow.
Isn't it?
I don't think so. I think it's going to go back down to 11 degrees.
Oh, wow.
But this is what I always dreamed of, just chilling in the garden. Being outside is so much easier. This is what I dreamed of, is getting a rug, coming outside, gardening with her. And she can just crawl around. I've got to get on it with picking up the poop, Alex.
I picked up all the poop today.
Well, you didn't.
The one I missed.
There's a massive one right there.
It's the one. Why would you put a rug down next to a pile of poop?
I didn't see it.